Hello, everybody. Dave Neal here, stand-up comic, host of Bachelorette Nation News. So I made a video yesterday about Michelle Young and Nayte receiving this $200,000 bonus, and we got a lot of comments from people saying they have every right, they deserve the bonus, and then some comments from people were saying, you know what, there's this money should have been donated to charity. It could go to better places. Michelle doesn't need it. So we'll get into responding to some of your comments, but first I wanted to play what Jason Tartick had to say about the financial side of this deposit, what it'll mean to them. Let's just have a listen.
I'm getting a lot of questions today about Michelle's down payment.
What's a down payment on your first
By the
home
way,
together?
his filter's wonky. Too much filter, Jason.
I'll give you an overall take.
What are you
Michelle
doing?
said it's for $200,000. The average down payment in America is 6%. That means your average person you're walking by, when they own a house, on average, they're taking 6% of whatever the value of that is and putting it in cash. Now, if $200,000 was the amount, that would mean Michelle would be buying a $3.3 million property. One thing you'll hear often is that people...
First of all, well, not necessarily. You know, you're supposed to put a 20% deposit down. The reason people don't put 20% deposit down is because we're in a housing crisis. I remember my stepdad being like, I don't know, Dave, when I was 23, I bought my first home. And I was like, yeah, you bought it for the price of like a used car. You know what I mean? All these guys in the 70s had Corvettes and homes. Sorry, we don't have that now. We have a $2,100, 600 square foot apartment, all right? That's not our problem. We're just dealing with it.
Should be using a 20% down payment.
Okay, there you
Take
go.
20% of the house price and put it down. Why do they say that? They say that because there's something called PMI. It's an insurance that you will have to pay if you don't put at least 20% down.
Insurance is a crock.
And that insurance helps the lender get comfortable in case you don't pay your mortgage. So the lender is reducing their risk because they have insurance involved. So people will say you got to pay 20%. That means you won't have to pay PMI.
And a lot of people say, well, rather than pay the 20%, put that money in the stock market, pay the PMI insurance, and then the stock market will have higher returns. You know what I mean?
$200K, if that's...
So that's what we wonder. It's like, look, if they can buy, and if you're a first-time home buyer, I know my friends in Michigan, it's obviously a little different than Minnesota, but some of these rural communities or suburban neighborhoods in the Midwest, you're buying homes on the cheap, and you can buy it with the 0% down or 3% down. So essentially, they could take the $200,000, invest it, or is Bachelor saying, hey, let's make this easy for you. You have to put this on the down payment. My guess is that Bachelor just gave them cash. That's my guess, because it's a little bit easier than telling someone what they have to do with the money.
That's the amount. Some interesting facts. Apparently, they may be moving to Minnesota. And if they do, the average house price there is $320,000. So $200,000 can cover a huge chunk of change, all just depending on what house they get. But people also ask my take, what do I think of it? I think it's awesome. I think it's amazing that this franchise has been very successful and that they're giving them $200,000. That's life-changing money for them to start their life. I think it's amazing. And often, guys, everyone's like, well, what about other past leads and things like that?
Who cares?
Not every lead is given certain things, but you've seen many leads come off the show that are given a chance to go on Dancing with the Stars.
Or how many leads end up getting a wedding paid for that might cost essentially $80,000? You know what I mean? Some leads get weddings, some don't. It really depends on what is there money to give at the end of the day. You know, the company. Also, you look at what we don't know this, but what were Tayshia and Caitlyn paid? Clearly not as much as Chris Harrison. So the Bachelorette, the Bachelor producers, they might have saved $1 million here by not having Chris Harrison. I know they had to pay him a settlement. Brian Friedman negotiated a nice settlement there. I know they had to pay him somewhere around $8 or $9 million. But if their operating costs are less than what they normally would be, they've got extra money to give away.
Put the retail package together, that probably exceeds, well, it does. It exceeds $200,000. Or maybe they're getting other opportunities, and that retail value is around $200,000. So this isn't the first time that we've seen a lead get an opportunity or been given something. This is just, I think, the first time we've seen a down payment of the house. I love it. I support it. Great job, ABC. I think it's amazing. These people open your life to you. They fall in love. They're judged through and through, highs and lows. And to get them started is something I fully endorse. And my question to you is, if you won, if you ended up with your soulmate on The Bachelor, Bachelorette, Would you want a $200,000 down payment, or would you want an opportunity to go on another show like, for example, Dancing with the Stars? Let me know in the comments.
Well, I'll personally say this. I think Dancing with the Stars is less money up front, but you do get paid $100,000. And if you are trying to get into the influencer world, you're better off learning how to fish than receiving a fish, right? Right, I teach a man how to fish and give him a fish. And Bachelorette are giving Michelle a fish, $200,000. That's great. But if they gave them 4 million Instagram followers, they could then turn that into more money, which of course, Michelle and Nayte can do what they want with their following. They will find a way to monetize and profit their following as well. My thought is, if I were Michelle and Nayte, take the 200 grand. I'm assuming it's going to be taxed at the top tier, which means my guess is, not an accountant here, let me know in the comments, that they're going to get a net to around $120,000. You know, that's the one thing I was surprised Jason didn't mention here, is that a gift is taxed federally. I don't know what the state tax law is there, but it's taxed federally. So you get $200,000, that might end up being about $120,000, right? So that's not, if they were to put 20% down, and if they do have the money given to them, they might as well put it down into the house. Get a home that's $700,000, $800,000. Nate's 6'8". He's tall. He needs a big home. So I made this video yesterday, which I've been trying to make some more Instagram content. It's essentially the same thing I'm doing here, but just trying to do it in under a minute, right? Which is hard to do. I like to talk. And people left comments saying, you know, most people were supportive of the fact that they were received this gift, but you get a lot of the, what about this? What about that? Well, they could have donated the money to this. So it's rightfully fair that I read this comment, because I made the video talking about the people that were kind of, you know, I'd say gently hating on the fact that Michelle and Nayte got the gift. I don't doubt we should invest more in our teachers. The point Deborah was making was that they didn't need to give $200,000 for them to buy a house. Two people who just met 6 weeks ago, when most people don't stay together. Do I think they'll do well? Yes, I think they have a great shot. Do I think they'll be making $4,000 a post on Instagram? Probably a lot more than that, to be honest. And will be able to afford a down payment on a home? Yes. Do I think Michelle will donate some of that money or start a nonprofit? Probably. My point was for ABC not needing to give $200,000 to a couple that will eventually be millionaires when so many people can't even put food on the table. Or how about all the people who lost their homes in Kentucky with the tornadoes? I'm not being a jerk. They will be financially secure. I don't think you're being a jerk at all. I think you're just looking at it from the scarcity mindset. The scarcity mindset says, well, there's so much poverty out there that you can't feel guilty for having your own livelihood. You know what I mean? You don't be, there's a lot of poverty out there. There's a lot of injustice. We have so many issues, and maybe this is a sort of a low energy topic to have on Christmas Eve here. But you know, what if you don't have good health insurance? What if you break your leg? You know, people are getting $1 million bills for their COVID in the ICU. We have such a flawed system there that I would be less concerned about what ABC does with their money. ABC as a corporation pays taxes. They have money that they can give away. Maybe at the end of the year, they're like, all right, you know what? Let's just give this money away. Well, you know, we were, like I said before, we don't have Chris Harrison on the payroll. We didn't have to pay too much because we weren't traveling. All right, let's do this. Whatever. I don't know what their accounting is. They clearly had the money. They didn't pass the hat around. They had the money to give away. No amount of one person's sickness is going to make anyone else healthy. No amount of one person's poverty is going to make anybody else rich. The scarcity mindset, listen, people in Kentucky, yeah, it is a tragedy what has gone down there with the tornadoes. Absolutely. My fiance's from Kentucky. We know very well that tragedy. I raised money this season for Toys for Tots, for underprivileged kids across the country. Absolutely, we need to be charitable and give back in ways that we can. I just think it's who's to say ABC and who's to say Bachelor don't have charities that they're already maximized with their tax write-offs with? That's my whole point. So again, I don't think the audience is super bitter, but I think we do look at it from these scarcity mindsets. And maybe we could challenge each other as we go forward into 2022 to look at life with abundance mindsets. Maybe this home is going to help them put together, you know, a lot of the infrastructure they need to give back to their community. We all know Minnesota had a very tough year, and people have left a comment saying they're just glad that Michelle's being rewarded for that, for not leaving Minnesota, for sticking it out, and for being a net positive asset over there. Other people have said, you know, there's been past contestants that got paid double what Michelle probably got paid. So it's kind of like a bonus, and it's a lovely gift for them to start their family. But in the end, it's money that she made the franchise with her season. And by the way, if you're going to be pissed about anybody, be pissed about all the contestants on the show that don't get paid $1. You know what I mean? But they all take a risk. They go on the show taking a risk that their edit might not come out well, that they might be despised and might lose their earning potential. So there's a lot there. But I think we're all, for the most part, on the same page with this. We're happy for them. Congratulations, Michelle and Nayte, and the bonus that you received. For anyone out there that feels like they would like a bonus, just keep on working hard and putting love out there, and hopefully your tides will turn in a positive direction. But let's not be toxically gracious. There are a lot of problems that need to be worked out in our country that need to be fixed through voting in politicians that will work for us, not lobbyists. And there's a lot of problems that that are happening due to other issues. And all we can say is just maintain as much positivity as you can while fighting for justice out there. And anyway, I've gone on a rant. I appreciate you guys checking out my channel. And I said this before, the greatest present, how do I say this? The greatest presents I've received this year is your presence. All right. Did I say that right? I appreciate all the support that you guys have given me. Thank you all so much. I mean, from not just the donations and the gifts and all of those things that we experienced on Vlogmas, but just your daily support, giving me a reason to wake up at sunrise every day and talk to you guys. I couldn't do this if you guys didn't make it out to see me. So I appreciate the clicks, the comments, the likes, the subscriptions, the Patreons, every single one of you guys. Mwah! Merry Christmas, everyone. We'll see you next time. Probably won't see you till Monday, but have a good weekend. If any news breaks, I'll be here for you. Bye.